Who has a 100-word summary of all the trouble you guys got into last time we played?
Let's see. We spent the entire session, I do believe, trying to get rid of an incredibly evil hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a thing with a drow lady that made me watch her horse.
Yeah.
And I ate all of her apples.
That did happen.
Yeah. And I
don't think you ate all of the apples. I think.
All right. Yes.
I think there was some sort of extra dimensional bullshit going on.
Listen, I have been giving a mission by God to make use of this hand. Who are you to turn it down?
Listen, like, also, somebody walked up and wanted to buy the lady's horse for some reason, and they wouldn't take. I don't own the horse. I can't sell the horse to you because I don't own it.
You could have
an answer.
Yeah, it was one of the.
You chose not to.
I chose not to sell something that didn't belong to me. Like that just causes so much problem. You go down to the HMV, and you go, and then like you try to get your car.
No, we're not going to be able to get past HMV. Let's start there. This
horse-moving vehicles.
Okay. That's fine.
And,
we can keep going now.
Why did the apartment part get taken out?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why is it not the DHV?
Because horses move vehicles. They pull carts.
Right, that's why you take out the motor.
It's the Department of Horse Vehicles.
Right.
Anyway, listen,
This is going to be a great session.
Can it just be the DMH, the Department of Moving Horses?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Sure. Anyway, you go down to get your horse registered, and like, I didn't have the proper paperwork. It was just done him no good.
When has ever not having the proper paperwork stopped us before?
He would have to have filed for a lost title.
We would have just made
just bribe him. Or blackmail him.
So here's what...
We're the good guys.
You, well, you are the good guys. You did just agree to instill a drow woman on the Court of Lords.
Yeah,
drow, for those of you who don't know, are the incredibly evil arcane slavers that live in the underworld.
She's magically prevented from killing people.
She told you that.
I'm willing to trust her.
She hasn't given us a reason not to trust her.
She's a drow.
That's racist.
That's a very narrow-minded attitude, and I think we all need to go to sensitivity training now.
I feel like if she was lying about it, I would have figured it out.
Same.
All right, so you've all rationalized to yourself why it's okay that you've agreed to...
No, 1 second, I'm already writing down my belief for this session.
No, good job, Nodal. Way to fish for that one.
Oh, wait, no, that's my flaw. Got it. Okay, you can go on.
All right.
I got a gun. That also happened, finally.
So one thing I want to do...
Again.
Let's go over your list of open questions. Questions that you seek answers to.
Yes.
What do we still have?
Great.
I love that this has come back. We should do this every week.
Well,
okay.
Hang on, let me get my notebook out.
So, my list of open questions is I'm very curious about how to deal with this hand.
We hire a mage to open a portal to the plane of fire, and we throw it in.
I have to make use of this hand, not get rid of this hand.
I mean, yeah, we could just make a temporary bag of holding with artificial roll shit and then stab it.
No, that's get rid of hand.
I know, I'm just saying we don't need like a plane to the elemental plane of fire. Like, there's a simpler
Okay, well,
solution.
yeah, that is more efficient. Thank you.
Let's get just a real quick show of hands, Hardy Har. How many of you want to get rid of the hand versus how many of you want to make use of the hand?
Get rid of.
Get rid of.
Get rid of.
Make use of.
Like
I swear to God.
And to make use of, huh?
I swear to God, Florian, if you abstain, I'm going to come through this internet and stab you.
This hand has a point of view, and we need to figure out what it is.
Listen,
Florian is kind of curious about the hand.
this is how liches happen.
Florian is interested in researching liches. What are you talking about?
Statistically, how likely do you feel it is there is at least one lich living in or under Dunfoss?
Statistically,
Low to middling,
no. I feel
middling to high.
it's like there's money here, but it's not the center, and there's no big religious organization. No central religious organization. I feel middling to high.
Yeah, I'm laying odds at 62.5.
So I think the pressing question is does it have to be under Dunfoss? Could it be in?
Yes.
Is it
Absolutely.
In Dunfoss? Yes, absolutely.
What other open questions do we have?
Yes, Florian votes to make use of the hand.
Okay. You're going to make use of the hand as you instill this drow onto the Court of Lords.
Who might be a lich, and then the question answered.
There you go.
Okay.
Desinary is her name, I believe, right?
Dacinary.
We have a ton of stuff for the flying pig still.
Yep.
Basically,
Yeah,
the
we're still-
flying pig could just be its own category of
What
sub-question.
is the flying pig symbol?
The flying
So
pig.
some period of time ago, I did finish working out the alchemical formula to cast the dream spell targeting this person. We haven't actually done that yet, just as a reminder.
Yep.
Seems like a
We have
good
an
next step.
ongoing set of questions about the last vote that the Fireblood House took place in, and also what happened to the children of the house.
Yeah.
We know they're believed to have been killed, but we don't know necessarily that that's true, that someone didn't come back.
I have one that we can add. The coin that Alexander learned about, the coin that the mercenaries had.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That actually might be something we can leverage, like the knowledge of that anyway. It's basically a symbol of the House of Fireblood that we can leverage. Like it exists and it's known to exist.
It's less an ongoing question and more just an ongoing plot point that we need to tie up. But me and Gus have to go talk to the cobblestone wizard that we helped out.
Yeah,
We delivered her thing, but we haven't gotten the.
Her
Oh,
very,
really? I thought that was a cobblestone wizard already.
her very unfortunate name was Caitlin Chubb.
Caitlin Chubb. We got to go talk to Caitlin Chubb.
That's really too bad.
It's right out of Tolkien.
Why are we wait? Who is Caitlin Chubb and why are we talking to her?
So you don't need to talk to her. It's just a minor plot point between Gus and I. Me because she's a divination wizard and I want to use her as a source for spells. Gus because she's a cobblestone wizard and he wants to get into the cobblestone wizards.
Got it.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Trying to think.
Why did the Keyskin ambassador bail out of town?
Yep, that's on my list here. Now, Lucius had written a letter to his father.
Mm-hmm.
And sent it off. You're not expecting a response to that letter in the near future, not within the next couple days at least.
I do know that I did send one letter, and he did respond saying, "Why the hell are you living on a stupid houseboat?" But I hadn't
An
really
innocent
gotten-
woman was sent to prison. Who sent her there and why?
Nobody important. Nobody important. It's fine.
Is that an open question? Okay.
I have written down why have all the Moscap patrols been changed?
That's one of the original questions. Yes, that's still on here.
We never found that out. Yeah,
Wait, the king's still alive is the official story, isn't it?
Yes.
it's the official story, and we don't know if that's true. But if the king is dead, we know that legally the king is alive because there are certain things that need to happen when the king dies, and they haven't happened. And it's possible we could use that to our advantage. There's got to be some weird loophole that we can do involving the fact that the king is dead, but they can't say it.
So, what's supposed to happen when the king dies is Dunfoss chooses its next king through a semi-democratic process where each of the courts of Dunfoss in turn selects a king from its own number. The next court to do this is going to be the Court of Commons.
Who sits on the Court of Commons?
Many people. The chairwoman for the Court of Commons right now is
Jody Fletcher.
Jody
Jody
Fletcher.
Fletcher.
Like, I was wondering, like, what kind of people sit? Like, is it just like merchants and like rich, influential citizens, or is
that would be the Court of Commerce, which selected
Okay.
the previous king, King Maximilian. So tradesmen, business owners, merchants, people of that note, they would sit the Court of Commerce if they're not themselves nobility, in which case they would sit the Court of Lords. The Court of Commons is made up of not noble women or noblemen, but common people who have distinguished themselves in the eyes of the city in one way or another. The problem with this process is that in practice, once a commoner gets that kind of distinguishment, they now sit in a position of privilege above the common man. So in practice, the common man of Dunfoss doesn't really get a lot of say, even when the king is selected from among the commons. That said, the frontrunners, many of the frontrunners of for the next king, the small group of people that is thought the Court of Commons will choose from, are loved by large sections of the population.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me, there is one front runner for the kingship we haven't seen from the Court of Commons. It's he's a pirate or a sailor, right?
Yes.
And one thing we could do if we want to investigate, one avenue investigation for the Flying Pig is we could ask him if he's ran into the Flying Pig.
So
Because
I can answer your first question right now, because the man you're speaking of is named Sigurd Tensails. He's the captain of a ship called the Whistler. He was a pirate turned privateer by, 40 or 50 years ago by King Juliana when she sat the throne. He sailed away from Dunfoss after her death. He's returned in the past couple of years with wealth and tales of high adventure, but he hasn't made port in Dunfoss since we've started the campaign. So within the past month or so, he hasn't actually made port in Dunfoss. That's not to say he doesn't have agents in the city who you could start asking questions of, but the man himself and his ship are not here.
Okay, all right.
Joni Fletcher was of interest because she was around when Juliana took office as king. Juliana placed her in her position as Madam Chairwoman of the Court of Commons. And
We were trying to get inroads with her because she was there, and by doing so, we might be able to get some leads into this whole Firehouse Fireblood situation.
Yeah, the problem with Fletcher is you can't just walk up into the Court of Commons and, like, she's not a woman that you can just casually speak to. So the thought was if you had some actual dirt on one of the other frontrunners for king, you might be able to get close to her. I think that's where we had left it on that.
That is correct.
That end.
Yeah.
So here's the
Florian
other
and I-
angle I can see us taking on that point is here's the problem. We can't just walk in there and talk to her. But she's the chairwoman of the Court of Commons. If we can convince public opinion that we should be able to walk in there and talk to her, because she's theoretically the chairwoman of the Court of Commons.
We can. It's just we're going to get an appointment in like a year.
What if we had some pressing need? The next time we have some kind of disaster threatening the city, which, let's be real, it's Dunfoss. It's going to come up.
I mean, like the obviously evil hand. Although we probably shouldn't bring that up because we technically
So
brought
that
it
one
into the city.
that one we're keeping under our hat. That's an ongoing
that's-
investigation.
Do not put the evil hand underneath your hat. That's a bad place for it.
What were you saying, Lucius?
Lucius and Florian were we had discovered some kind of squirreliness with one of the other candidates, the Keyskin Tiefling named Journey. She had either a visitor or she was sneaking in and out of her home at the pub that she ostensibly lives at. And again, she lives at a pub.
You guys are taking meticulously detailed notes this campaign. I'm proud of all of you. Good job.
We need to put them in a central repository, though.
It's all in handwritten for me. I'm sorry.
I shouldn't suspect that your notes are more organized than mine, honestly.
My memory has been getting better.
Mine has not.
Mine has never been good and is deteriorating over time.
Mine is getting worse.
All right, so I have to step away for just 2 seconds. I'll be right back. When I come back, we'll talk about what we're going to do on the morning of Salt Day, the 17th.
What
We also
do we have to give the choreo?
Let's see.
Yeah, when does that do?
I think it's the 18th, but
That's a nice
You've
couple
got
of rolls.
coin info.
Yeah, the coin. Like we found out that there is a
The
symbol of the
hippo.
house. Yeah.
The hippos have it. I forget what they're called.
Yeah.
The GIF.
GIF.
The GIF. Right. Not the GIF. The GIF.
I made
GIF
that
with an
mistake
F.
too.
Oh yeah, I need to actually.
Did
put that in my
they?
notes.
Did he say? Did he need to have the matching coin of that one, or was it just?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But like, I mean,
I don't even know where.
what Choreo does with that information is for him.
Well, the thing is, I feel like Choreo is someone who could pay him 3 times whatever his employer's paying him.
Right. If we can get one of those coins,
Mm-hmm.
he has both a group of people who are like well known enough and capable at their jobs, and also a fairly good proof that he is a descendant of House Fireblood. Like it's a 2-for-1.
I mean,
Well, I mean, it would make the most sense if there was like open war or something where he could march these guys in defense of Dunfoss. That would get him a seat on the council for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like the heir of Fireblood has returned, saving the city from whatever.
No, yeah, you're right about that. But the problem
Also,
is Dunfoss isn't at war.
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying or an invasion of Works or something.
Or like a dragon.
So I know I haven't,
Right.
because I haven't streamed since we got our new puppy. We did get our new puppy. She's installed in the house. Her name is Lulu. And
Hi, Lulu.
well, she's not here. She can't hear you. We narrowed the names down to a couple options. Peanut's first choice was Aerith,
No.
which,
No.
and then we narrowed it down to. She didn't want to go with Selfie because she thinks the word selfie is stupid. But you know what? Fair enough.
Booyaka!
And we both liked the name Pinello, but then I didn't want her calling the dog Penny, which was absolutely going to happen. So we settled on Lulu.
Yeah. Rotate those thumbsticks.
I don't care the gender. I think Walk is a good dog name.
Yeah.
It's not
I like
bad.
that one.
Walk is pretty good.
What was I saying? Oh, regarding hearts and minds and stuff, don't forget the GIF are huge enemies of, like, people in Blue Worm have bad memories of the GIF, and of Eldov in particular, and anything that we can show as a, hey, the one-up on Blue Worm, fuck those guys, can only be good for us.
can
Wait, why does Blue Worm hate Eldov?
Because he used the GIF as a defender. Oh, wait, was that not Blue Worm?
Elda founded Blue Worm.
Yeah.
Right, but I thought there was, like, did he piss us off with the GIF? Because maybe
Yeah.
I'm backwards on this.
He pissed off Dunfoss. And some of
Okay,
the
so
other
maybe
areas.
the GIF, we keep that part a little quiet. Finally, the GIF are returning to make right the wrongs that they committed. Due to Choreo Fireblood. I'll spin this whichever way we have to.
Nobody spins better than you do, apparently.
Okay, so coming up on the day of the 17th. Oh, the gift's name was Dino Stomp. I now remember.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Like, I rule.
That's amazing. Let me go ahead and write that one down.
Oh, and we've also learned, as of last week, that transporting Gnarljacks is really difficult and thankless work.
Yeah, no.
And that apparently in some circles, the Adric's honor is known as the Dwarven Scourge.
Oh yeah, because a couple of the party guys went to talk to the Triton noble that lives in town, ish.
All right, we learned about the horror from beneath the sea.
Yeah.
All right, so what are our plans on the 17th? What are we doing? Just to remind you, on the 18th is when Fireblood is due.
Yep.
Yeah, we were.
Okay, so we talked about this a little bit while you were gone, and our go-to play on that one is bringing up this coin. All we learned about that.
Okay.
Is there anything that we think we can do in town to get some more information on this coin before tomorrow?
Again, I would think that would be who would have been around while Elda Fireblood was active, and that list of names is very, very short.
So I know that Lucian went to one of the houses on the list and was rebuffed.
Yeah,
but there were other names on the list, right? Besides Joni Fletcher.
Here's my vote for what me and Gus can do for at least the morning, and then probably me for the evening. Is we go talk to, what was her name again? I'm sorry. You'd think I'd remember this one.
Chubb.
Your memory's getting better.
Caitlin Chubb. Go talk to Caitlin Chubb, and we say, of all names for me to forget, we go talk to Caitlin Chubb, and we say, hey, we're here. We returned your thing. Hey, are you willing to get Gus into Cobblestone Wizards? Also, I was wondering, and we present this as kind of like a divination challenge, how we can locate information. If she doesn't have anything from that, I'm not sure if she will. I don't know the higher levels of how this stuff works. My plan is to spend the rest of the day casting Locate Object around the city. Two different ways. One, to look for a coin resembling the item. That should be fairly simple. We can just look for that one. The second is to look for a drawing of the coin. That, I think I'll do near, like, libraries and, like, noble houses and stuff, because maybe we can find information about it, at least.
What is the chances, since Alexander saw the coin, he could reproduce draw the, at least roughly draw the, stuff on it?
I mean, I have a smith's kit in a working lab. I can just make a replica coin.
Well, don't make a replica coin, because then I'm gonna find it.
Well, no, I can make one out of silver or something, and you can look for another gold coin.
That's true.
Make it out of iron.
Okay, so Gus and Seeker in the morning are going to go talk to Chubb. What about Florian? We're doing morning actions right now.
I want to be able to contribute, finding out information we can give to Corio, as opposed to the dumb things I want Florian to do, of which there are a few.
It's always tomorrow for that, Florian.
Yeah. I don't know what else we can do to try, and what other angles we can do to find out more about this coin. I guess what I'm saying is come back to me.
Okay. What is Lucius going to be doing in the morning?
I want to see if I can find. There was a gray cloaked man who was talking with Journey during the evening of when we were tailing her. I want to try and see if I can find that.
Okay. How are you going to go about doing this?
That's the thing, though. That's the tricky part.
What about Alex? What is Alex doing this morning?
Sounds like I'm going to be spending my morning building a mold and casting a replica of that coin out of iron.
You couldn't just make a drawing. Got him, Smith and Corey?
Yeah, three dimensions. Yeah, I mean, I can make a diagram, but I think this is going to be more useful.
There's no GIF in the city, right?
Not as far as you know.
Actually, the coin's a really good prop for Corey of Fireblood.
Mm-hmm.
If you have something flashier than iron,
We could.
Well, I mean, I don't want to use gold because I don't want to mess up with your magic.
can you just like make an iron one and then cover it with like a thin layer of silver?
Yeah, I can totally plate it.
Fantastic.
Okay, so that just leaves Florian and Lucius.
Right. So, since I can't think of anything, I'm going to go to Florian's list of dumb things he needs to do, which at the top is inscribe a scroll of burning hands into his spellbook.
Okay, so you're also going to be back at the barge this morning, and that leaves Lucius.
Yeah, I'm going to stay at the barge, and I'm going to... I'm just going to stay at the barge and maintain a presence for anybody who might be coming by to look for things. How about this? What did any business come through during the time that we were out and about, away from the city?
No, the last business you had was when you spoke with Destinary.
Okay, so nobody came in while we were in town, out of town, and trying to. Because if that's the case, I would like to. Because if there were people coming by looking for us, I would like to follow up with that.
Well, there was Destinary, but you were out of town pretty consistently for a little while.
You know that one guy, right? Like the who's that nobleman you talked to a few times in order to try to get us information about Query of Fireblood? Because he probably knows eligible bachelors around town.
You know what? You're right. Yeah, that's.
Don't tell him why you're looking for it. Just ask if any of his friends are like looking for.
Well,
pose it as like a romantic problem.
Yeah.
And don't go for his friends. Go for his friends' moms or dads. Wait, did we actually get her preferences?
Has the money and is likely to die soon.
Yeah, she's looking for a man who's in decent health.
Okay, that's the part I need to double check.
Yeah.
Somebody who's in good health, so they've got a good 10 or 20 years left, with no children or other kin with strong claims to their wealth, and somebody who's not strongly tied to any of Dunfoss's magical colleges.
I've got his name down here somewhere.
Too bad he's got kids, because he would be perfect.
Elman. Elman is his name.
All right, so you're going to speak with Elman this morning?
Yeah.
How long, Alex, is it going to take you to make that coin?
I figure I can probably do it in a morning action. Is that reasonable, Brick?
Yeah, it's fine.
Set up a mold, melt some iron, cast it. As long as I get started heating the iron in the morning, before I get up, or before I go to breakfast, that's fine. Most of the time is going to be spent melting iron to pour into the mold.
Can Florian borrow it for an afternoon action?
As long as I can see it first. I just need to see.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay.
Yes.
Gus and Seeker going to speak with Caitlin Chubb, the cobblestone wizard. And you return to her. She had an artifact that ended up at the Dead Man's Den, the smokehouse.
Yes.
And you retrieved it for her. And she doesn't exactly shower you with gratitude. She doesn't fall all over herself thanking you and kissing your feet. Although she does take a crystal orb of some kind.
Yeah.
Very gingerly. And almost immediately she finds what looks to your eyes as a velvet sheet of a reddish purple color and swirls it completely around this crystal orb and very gingerly sets it down on a nearby shelf. And then she tells you, all right, so where does that leave us then?
Well,
she doesn't speak dog.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate, yes.
We were hoping that you could help Gus into the Cobblestone Wizards, if you remember, and you offered me some assistance in looking into divination rituals. Your expertise, if it were.
She looks at Gus. She leans back in her chair. There you go. You're a Cobblestone Wizard.
Where do I get the little... And he points at her badge.
And she tells you that you can have one of these made in any fashion that you require. Some people cast them in metal, others in leather, others in cloth. She says she'll sell you this one if that's your fancy.
We know a guy.
And she nods and she wishes Gus well in his new career as a Cobblestone Wizard.
Gus shakes his head and just kind of walks away.
May you guard your magical secrets, or not, as is your wont.
Regarding guarding magical secrets, and Seeker looks at her expectantly.
Okay. And what is your request, young man?
Well, at the moment, I was wondering if there was any kind of spell for locating information. But in the future, I might need some help finding other spells.
She asks what sort of information you seek.
There's an item, and I know the means of locating another similar object. I've used it before. You actually helped me with that one, if you recall. But I was hoping to just locate information about the object. My thinking was, well, I'll use that spell to locate any similar object like it, and if I can't find one of those, then I'll look for representations of the object. Maybe that'll lead me to a library or somewhere. But you have more experience than me.
She asks what this object is.
And I don't know it well enough at the moment to describe it for purposes of a spell, but I've gotten a vague description, and I'll give her the description of the coin that I was told.
She fishes around in one of her many pockets. She pulls out a common copper piece, sets it on her table in front of her, slides it halfway across. You've seen a million of these in your life. Just a copper penny like any street urchin would carry around. She says a foreigner that comes to Dunfoss wouldn't know anything about this object except perhaps a vague idea of the value of the metal. If they're from a land that has commerce the way we have, they would also know something about its transactional value. What you want to do is find an object like this and learn more about it than its physical appearance and material can tell you.
Right. Something about the lore of an object.
She tells you there are two ways to go about this. And she values one of these methods far and away above the other. The first thing you can do is seek out somebody who makes these objects. In this case, perhaps visits the Dunfossin Mint. That mints no small amount of coins. Surely the treasurers there, dwarves all, have fantastic wealth of knowledge about coins from all across the continent, across the sea, perhaps.
Sure.
If they don't have the information you seek, you ask them who does, and you refine your search until you find the maybe one person who knows about the one object you're looking for. This is the more reliable method of seeking such obscure information. The other method involves asking the item itself.
Like through some sort of identify?
Do you not know the identify spell?
No, I do.
Okay. So you're asking about the identify spell in regards
I'm
to...
asking about the identify spell with regards to like a common object. My understanding was that it worked on magical objects.
And she confirms that the identify spell specifically looks at the magic imbued in an object and tells you how it works and what it's supposed to do. Although, her advice that she's giving you, she says that it would hold true for magical objects as well. Much better to find somebody who crafts the magical object in question to get a truer idea of its function. Although, that's a much more difficult ask than to find someone who crafts a common coin or a sword.
In that case, I do have a spell I would like to learn from you. Or scribe from your book, as it were.
What spell?
Detect Thoughts. It's a 2nd level divination spell.
And she grins broadly at that. She says, one truth you should learn now and hold closely is that objects can lie to you when you read them.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own histories, and many have their own agendas, and those agendas can stretch past centuries. This copper coin came from an ore that sat in a vein in a mountain for untold thousands of years, and the gods know where it was before that. And she points at her head. But people are stupid and simple. And when you know how to reach into their mind, you will find they always tell the truth.
And Seeker agrees with that, even though in his head he thinks, that's the danger. Because there are many, many different truths.
So your goal is to get her to agree to let you inscribe Detect Thoughts?
Yeah, basically, like, the original deal we made is that in future, if I had need of, like, the ability to scribe a spell and she was available, she would let me scribe it. That was part of the deal of getting the thing back for her. And my thinking is she probably has... well, I'll just ask you. Like, what kind of spells does she have? Does she have anything but divination?
You'd have to ask her.
Okay.
Like, she's not going to just hand you a menu. Also, interesting, the material component for Detect Thoughts is a copper piece.
Uh-huh. That's why she probably has one.
That's a happy accident.
How about that, huh?
Yeah, she will allow you to inscribe the spell. She cautions you, though.
Uh-huh.
Best to use this spell on simple folk. Shopkeeps, artisans, commoners, noblemen. She said that she would shy away from using it on sorcerers, warlocks, monsters, and the like. Sometimes when you reach into a thing's mind, the thing grabs hold of you.
Alright, I'll keep that in mind.
She also, as she snaps the copper piece back off the table and puts it in her pockets, she tells you that if she ever catches you using this spell on her, it will be the last thing you ever do.
Seems fair to me.
And so you spend the rest of the morning inscribing the spell.
Alright.
Gus, are you heading back to the barge after you get your... Well, I guess I should ask, what kind of patch are you going to have made?
Just probably a metal... Just like a metal pin, probably.
Okay.
Like something that looks like a metal, maybe.
Alex, you cast the mold, and you make this, so what is it, an iron coin with silver plating?
I'm actually going to plate it with electrium.
Hell yeah.
Can I... Like, you're
Never, ever question the value of a good prop.
Florian, you successfully inscribe the Burning Hand scroll.
Neat.
And Lucius, you're going to go visit your good friend Elman.
Yeah.
Where do you find him at? Where do you hunt him down?
I would say if not his home, then his then one of the various watering holes I know him to frequent. Probably the latter.
Okay. Asking around his watering holes, you do find him late in the morning. you're directed to the Bank of Lords, which is in West Harbor, and he was known to have business there this morning. And you find him sitting on a small stone wall outside of this bank proper, inside of which is a nice little garden. And he's sitting there, and you see him from afar, from down the road, and he's got his head in his hands, leaning his elbows on his knees. And that's
Looks
how
like
you
he's having
see
a-
him.
Looks like he's having a bad morning. I guess I'll go see what's plaguing him.
Okay. And he doesn't even notice your approach until you step up and bid him good morning, and you kind of startle him out of it. And he immediately snaps back to his old natural self. He stands up and he wipes the hair out of his face, bids you good morrow, asks what brings you here so far away
Elman,
from your barge.
Elman, you wear your heart on your sleeve, and now and I couldn't help but notice that you were a little out of sorts before I walked up.
And he waves his hand nonchalantly. He tells you, I had early business at the bank. I had to skip breakfast. I'm feeling a bit peckish. Low blood sugar, you know.
Certainly. Shall we take a breakfast then? Because I have some questions I would like to ask you.
He says, that's a fantastic idea. Lead the way, old chap.
Go to a nearby pub and take a breakfast. Tuck
Okay.
in. And I'm gonna.
How much are you spending on this breakfast?
Let's say a couple of gold pieces.
It's a really good fucking breakfast. Okay.
Yeah. I'll knock 2 gold pieces off, one for each of us.
The expensive part of the breakfast is not the food itself, but it's the fact that he's drinking a fairly large amount of expensive wine for this early in the day.
So I know something's eating him. So I'm trying and get him to open up to what's eating him.
Make an insight check.
Good. D20, where did you go? You're looking at a 16.
Okay. Every time you steer the conversation in that direction, he insists that nothing's wrong. Everything's just peachy. But he does seem worried, and this is something you've seen once or twice in your life. He has the hallmarks of a nobleman who very recently found out he doesn't have nearly as much money as he probably expected.
Okay, so
your guess is his money's running out for some reason, and he's starting to panic.
okay. I'll let the matter drop.
Okay.
For now, because I don't want to cause him any more undue stress. And I'm going to ask him if he knows any in his circle might be in the words might be in the market for a wife, because apparently I've been contracted to play matchmaker.
He says he certainly has no intentions of tying himself down. You know, the way he phrases it is, he has so much love to give. How could he possibly give it to simply one woman? He finds this to be extremely funny.
Certainly. Well, you don't know of anybody who might be in that situation?
He mostly has stories of other men in his social circle around his age that, like, weddings he's attended recently, arranged marriages, and he's trying to duck out of as many of these as possible. He finds them to be such droll affairs. He's had more fun kind of catting about town with Choreo.
Well, I'm glad you have. Speaking of Choreo, what have you heard from him lately? Has he said anything to you lately about anything?
And he gives you some stories about adventures that he and Choreo have gotten up to here in town, visiting this pub and that pub. Choreo's lavishly spending completely irrational amounts of money. And then he starts to put two and two together. And he leans forward. He says, does Choreo want to get married?
I think he has his sights set on other things at the moment, but I might. Besides, I don't think the client in question would be very interested in his advance.
Is the client in question Choreo? He's got that elvish blood. Some of the elvish men do go for boys, you know.
Some of the tiefling men do as well. He says very dryly.
And you can see the gears start turning in his head. So I think I know a few chaps who might be up for, I don't know about marriage. That seems... But no, Choreo, I never would have expected. And he reaches across and slaps you on the back. You seem to have cheered him greatly this morning.
Glad I could be of service. It doesn't look like I'm going to be making much headway with regard to any of his social circles, and
well, his social circles are all going to be men his age.
Yeah, not going to be. Yeah, so. Do you know any? Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Continue your thought.
He probably knows of older men, but he doesn't hang out with them. He could probably name every nobleman in the city if you sat here long enough.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get together a list of names. And
so you pitch him the idea that no, you're looking for an older gentleman. So yeah, here's what you can do.
I'm leaving it at that for now because I don't want too much of this to get back to our client or anybody else to get it around town.
He knows friends of his father, businessmen that he's had dealings with in the past. Owners and proprietors of various establishments, old money, new money. I will let you concoct a potential man to put on this list. And we'll say that this is the culmination of your morning with Elman. For some reason or another, most of the names Lucius has decided is not suitable. And you've narrowed it down to one. And I'll let you determine who that is, what they do in town. And mostly though, he's enjoyed most of the morning drinking your gold.
Yep. Okay.
And that's going to bring us to... Everybody's going to reconvene.
Yep.
Everybody what?
Back at the barge for afternoon actions.
Oh, no. Gus didn't go back to the barge.
Where'd you go, Gus?
The bar.
That's like a barge.
Yeah, there's no GE on it.
For your afternoon action or the rest of the morning?
The rest of just afternoon action as well.
Okay.
Just going to the Wharf Town and not going back to the bar. Didn't tell anybody, just going over that way. Gonna go to the bar for the afternoon.
Just drinking in Wharf Town for the afternoon.
Yep.
And Seeker, this afternoon you're doing what?
I am going to, I think I'll spend a few minutes, because I didn't prepare spells this morning, swapping something out for Detect Thoughts.
Okay.
And then I need to get a good look at that spell, at that coin, and I'm going to take her advice. I think I'm going to cast,
Are you able to prepare spells without a long rest?
Well, now let me check the book. My understanding was that you could do it once per long rest, but maybe it's only right after a long rest.
Because it comes during your long rest is when you do the preparation of your spells.
Oh no, you've got to do something after because it takes like a minute for every spell level. I'm checking. You can change your list of prepared spells when you finish a long rest. Okay, so that's something I'll have to do tomorrow.
So for today, you've got locate object, but not detect.
Today
thoughts.
I've got locate object, but not detect thoughts. But I can still make use of locate object.
So where are you going in town for this afternoon?
I liked her thought about mints, so I'm going to check the mint for sure. Not specifically looking for. I think my time is better spent looking for images of the coin rather than the coin itself.
Okay.
But I'm going to spend some time near a mint, but then I'm also just going to spend some time. Is there like. Because I know there's like a gnome town. Is there like a dwarf town?
Dwarves are very integrated into Dunfossan society, and there's also a lot of them living in what is called Gnome Town.
Yeah.
So it's more likely, like, there's no just Dwarven Alley or something like that. There are rumors of dwarves living in regions underneath Dunfoss, like in untold layers of caves and mines and things, but they're unsubstantiated. They're just children's stories.
So here's what I'm looking for. Is I'm looking for an area of town where richer people would be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm looking for someone who has enough time on their hands to like spend on their interests. I'm looking for like a coin collector.
Okay. So as far as the mint goes, as it happens, the Lord Master of the Dunfoss Mints, for 50 years, is King Maximilian. His family owns and operates the Dunfoss Mint and has for a very, very long time. So the actual mint right now, which is situated in the Palace District, is currently, or is always run by people in his family. So that's just like a secondary title he has, is Lord Master of the Mint. So you'll be going up into the Palace District if you're going to visit the Mint. And
so here's my order of operations.
Yeah.
For afternoon and then evening actions.
Okay.
Afternoon, I'm going to look for a coin collector. I'm going to cast the spell where I think some might be. If that doesn't work for me, casting it a couple times, I'm just going to ask around. Because I've found it in the past that it's very easy to get people to talk about their interests.
Okay.
So I'm going to present myself as someone who's just very, very interested in coins. I've heard about this very rare coin. I was wondering if he knew anything about it. And also, like, what does he know about coins in general? I'm going to take the information I get from that, and I'm going to go to the mint and present myself as a rare coin collector.
And where do you go in town to look at a coin? Look for this coin collector.
I think somewhere. What do you guys? Where's like the richest center of town, but like one level down? Like where would be like the bars for the rich center of town? High courts. I think I'm gonna go looking beer there.
If you're sharing this plan, I'm also gonna remind you we have 80 gold of specially minted demon worshipper coins that are not in our ledger for normal spending. If you want to have something to like show a coin collector to get their interest,
I would love to have exactly 2 of those coins.
So
I'm gonna say 78. Go ahead and add them to your character sheet.
Yeah.
Florian's thinking is actually somewhat similar in terms of like finding people who might know about this coin. But since you're looking specifically for like people who might be interested, would it make more sense to go to the market district?
So my thinking is I'm not going to be able to go to someone's place of business and get them to talk about coins for a ton of time. I might be able to do that because, like I said, people love talking about their interests, but what if they're busy? But if I can find like a rich retired dwarf in a bar, buy him a few drinks and ask him about the stuff that he loves to talk about, and then now that I have this demon worshipper coin, maybe I can even like give it as a sweetener. I think I have an in.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe I'll take 3 of those coins, but
Sure.
pretend I only have 2.
What's Florian doing?
So Florian's thinking is much more basic.
Okay.
He would like to take the coin and visit the tinkerer's shop in town. Whatever his name is.
Is this a shop that we've been to before?
Yeah, I can't.
The one in the lighthouse?
The oddity shop in the shallows.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Florian's going there.
And you're taking what coin there? The demon coin?
The newly minted Fireblood coin.
Okay, so you're going to be the first person to do something with that.
Yeah.
Okay. What is Lucius doing this afternoon?
Lucius is going to get a sense of the. He's going to present to the group one Henrik Skjolder owns mining rights for iron outside of the city, and that's kind of where he keeps his. That's what keeps him in nobility.
Are you going to go see this person this afternoon?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a measure of the man this afternoon.
Okay.
That's clever, because if he owns property outside the city, he probably doesn't have any connection to the mages guilds inside the city.
Where does this man live inside the city?
He lives in Northgate's district.
Okay. And what was his name?
Henrik Skjolder.
And in less than 10 words, what sort of man is he?
Very private man, very miserly.
Okay, what's Alex doing this afternoon?
So, Eldov was technically, at one point, a noble in the Dunfossen nobility, and he was also marshaling a army moving across the southern edge of Dunfossen territory to dig a canal that Dunfoss apparently opposed. I would like to look up the military records and see exactly how some of that shakes out.
Okay.
So yeah, any place I can look at, like, mercenaries hired, campaigns raged, salaries paid, especially money. Like, as the group's accountant, I want to see, like, how did people move money around on the books with the military in response to Eldov's building this canal that he hired this hundreds of gift mercenaries to do.
Okay. Gus.
We're following
And,
the money. Sorry.
Yeah,
Drinking in Wharftown.
right.
Does that mean for evening actions, I'm going to have to ask what Drunk Gus wants to do?
No, I'm trying. I'm just putting feelers around. I am drinking.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to not get chastised for just drinking. So I'm also putting feelers out for the situation with the moss caps, because we haven't looked into that in a while. I figured that's a good thing I could ask about and drink.
Make an investigation check.
That is, I think it's a 12. Let me double check, because I closed my... No, I didn't. It's right there. Yeah, it's a 12.
Okay. And bear with me just 1 second. Oh, Fantasy Name Generator is not letting me down today. God bless this wonderful, wonderful website.
Gave me Henrik.